Hello, and thank you for joining us on today's call. I'm Mike Morreale, NHL.com staff writer and co-host of the NHL's Draft Class podcast. We are going to open today's call with members of NHL Central Scouting to get their take on the rankings, process, and some of the players at the top of the list. I'd like to welcome at this time Dan Marr, Director of NHL Central Scouting, David Gregory, Senior Manager of NHL Central Scouting, and J.F. Damphousse, Area Scout for the Quebec and the Maritimes. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen.
Good day,
Thank you, Mike.
Hi,
Great to
Mike.
be here.
Dan, Central Scouting's meetings for the final rankings were a little different this year. Tell us about how things changed with the season on pause and how the Bureau's ranking process works in general.
Well, this year, unfortunately, no one got the benefit to scout playoffs, Memorial Cup, the U18 World Championships. For Central Scouting, our list always comes out around this time during the first round of NHL playoffs and before the draft lottery. We missed about 10 days, and most of our ranking is based on regular season play. It gives us a balanced assessment. And as far as our meetings, well, we just moved it to an online format. We were able to conduct a business as usual approach. It's just we were minus the personal interaction that you get when you have breaks and dinners. But we were certainly able to make the best of this situation and get our list done.
There are a couple other members of Team Canada's gold medal winning World Junior Championship team among North America's top three skaters. Number 2, Quinton Byfield of Sudbury. Number 3, Jamie Drysdale of Erie. Tell us about those two players and what makes them high-end prospects.
Well, there's lots to say about both of them. But one of the things you just started off with, that they were on that gold medal team at such a young age, and not just on it, but able to contribute. Watching both these players develop over the year and get it put into high-end situations and then be able to adapt and contribute just shows you how special they are. To talk quickly just about Quinton first, and a player with his size and strength, and I think there's more size and strength to come, but to be able to have soft hands and the vision and make plays. And when players try to eliminate him, he can beat you with power, or he can beat you with hands and hockey sense. So makes him very, very tough to contain, and a really attractive prospect, obviously. And Jamie Drysdale is the type of player that every team is looking for. Very smart puck-moving defenseman who can beat you with his vision, beat you with his hockey sense, able to use that great quickness and thinking to defend and strip a puck and turn it around, and before you know it, it's going the other way, and find the open man on the attack that makes him, too tough to pass up if he's available when you're picking.
All right, let's get to some questions courtesy our good friends in the media. Sam Constantino of Sportsnet asks, if there's no combine, what, if any, testing information is available for teams? And will there be any restrictions for teams in terms of contacting players for interviews, the psych tests, while maintaining social distancing?
Yeah, great question. I'll answer by addressing the three segments of the combine. One is the interviews. NHL clubs are allowed to do interviews with the players basically all season long. And at this point now, it's just moved to an online format by whatever technical means they have. Obviously, with all the social distancing restrictions, there's no in-person interviews that are allowed. On the testing side, we're proceeding on our medical collection side as far as getting the players to provide a medical history questionnaire and any medical reports that are available. That's all information that gets posted and available to our club's doctors and trainers. And on the testing side, there are no fitness results going to be able to be obtained with the postponement of the combine. But we have an arrangement in place at our prospect games where we do get some on-ice test results done. So the teams do have on-ice test results of 75 of the top 100 prospects for this draft.
JF, TVA Sports asks, how is the pandemic changing the way prospects are being evaluated and organizations finalizing their lists, in your opinion?
Well, for us, I mean, our list was pretty much completed the way we scouted all year. We've seen those players a good amount of time, so I don't think the situation actually changed much about our list. I think they were recognized for what they've done, and our list is pretty much a good resume of their season. So I feel pretty confident that our list is not impacted by the actual situation.
David, the Detroit News asks, how deep is this draft class compared to previous seasons? And is there a strength at any one particular position?
It's hard to say, to answer the second part first. Hard to say if there's a strength in any one position. You can see from our list, there's a few less defensemen as you go down on the North American side. So there's some elite forwards there that are going to create a lot of discussion amongst the teams. And to me, the thing that always happens, the season starts and you wonder how deep the draft class is. But as we go through our scouting process and as we meet, both at midterm and final as a group, you realize there's a lot of depth here. Teams are going to get very, very good players as they pick into the second, third, fourth rounds. There's going to be some real hidden gems there. And a few years from now, we'll be talking about how did that player get taken so late. So there's lots of depth here and lots of opportunity for the NHL clubs.
And this question from the Associated Press, directed for Dan and JF. Does the lack of scouting due to fewer games make it more difficult for teams making choices in the later rounds?
Well, it's certainly new territory for the clubs. They've never had a situation like this where they don't get to factor in the playoff performances, as I alluded to before. It kind of puts them on a even playing ground with central scouting. So there's a lot of old-fashioned scouting going on here where there has been less views, but everybody, their staff has been out there. They've worked hard. They've got a good view, a good opinion of these players. So I think the NHL clubs are in a good place as far as putting a draft list together.
Great stuff. Dan, David, JF, thank you for joining us today and for all the hard work that Central Scouting does year in, year out. Be well, gentlemen, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Same to you. Appreciate it.